Reggae Interviews. Word Sound Power.
This is DJ745 for Reggae Interviews with a lyrical fire. We've been tracking Kabaka Pyramid's musical output for almost 10 years. We've got him live here today for Reggae Interviews. Blessings, how are we doing today?
Giving thanks, man. Bless up. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good, you know. I'd rather Reggae Month is kind of like a time when I'm in Jamaica, so I'd rather be there. But you know what? Next year, 2022 is the year, I say.
I know it's been a crazy winter for you guys up in England right now. That's the crazy snow in London, all kind of things.
Yeah, do you know what? I think growing up in England is kind of, I'm kind of used to that kind of weather and that kind of climate. So when we get like a couple of days of sunshine, we kind of get happy and smiling and things. But that's just how it goes, you know. That's how it goes,
true.
You know. But look, we're pretty much sort of finished celebrating Reggae Month 2021. You've been involved quite heavily in that. The Open University, great discussion that you had there, and obviously Reggae Wednesdays, Reggae-lution. What a performance that was!
Yeah, man, give thanks. Definitely enjoyed it. It's been a while I get to perform with my band, so definitely cherish the moment and got a lot of great reviews about the performance and things. So we got to test out some of the new songs, some of the songs from the mixtape and such. So it was a great vibe. I had to brush off a little bit of the rust, but you know, everybody had good things to say, so we can't complain, you know.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I think that, you know, watching that performance and all the other artists on that night, the energy was up on that performance. How do you, as an artist, sort of create that vibe without the actual crowd there?
Yeah, I think just having experience of this, you know, pandemic situation for almost a year now, I've been watching other people's shows and other performances and kind of taking notes, just mental notes, going in and, you know, seeing what are the things that can still make it special. Because we saw with even Versus with Bounty and Beanie, you know, it can be a really special thing if the performance is really engaging, and even though the fans aren't there, you have to act like as if they're there, you know what I mean? So I think that, you know, knowing that and keeping that at the forefront of my mind throughout the performance kind of still give it a vibe, you know?
Yeah. Because what's interesting is that I think that one of the last live shows that I came to was actually the Bob Marley 75th Earth Strong, where you came on towards the end with the Marley Brothers. And, you know, that's kind of like one of the thoughts that I have in my mind now, that, you know, one of the last shows that I saw was with people like yourself, Capleton, Ibamar, the Marley family. So it's a good thought to kind of live on with.
No, for sure.
I'm gonna try something now. Our next fire phone there. Voila, make it guitar. Mix it now. Contraband is in the master plan. Contraband, picking up the carbon. Contraband, how we pass the borders. Contraband, I am in the data. Contraband, now what's in that recipe? Contraband, give me this recipe. Contraband.
Even the other day with the 76th, you know, anniversary where they did the YouTube thing, you know, they showed some footage of that performance from before with Capleton and with Damian and stuff. So it was definitely good to see and remember those times, you know, when we actually could perform in front of crowds, you know.
Absolutely, definitely. Now, you touched on the 76th Earth Strong that we celebrated in February. You were involved in Survival 76, weren't you, as well?
Yes, with the cypher, you know, it was a great privilege for me to be requested, you know. I see a lot of ciphers happening, and I'm always like, yo, love to get in on some of these ciphers, you know. So when they linked me, you know, to do this one, I definitely took the opportunity and, you know, just make sure I write a nice verse so I can, you know, carry the lyrical legacy forward and still, you know, pay homage to the ones before, because it's all about survival, you know. It's just that same message. So, you know, it was a good vibe, and we got to shoot the video at Bob Marley Museum, and, you know, everybody loved the verse. You know, everybody, you know, forward strong with some whole heap of lyrics, and Sasko and Tifa and Joe Merce, and, you know, Skip did over Bob's part, Tanya Stevens. It's a great lineup and a great opportunity, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I think what I've kind of learned is that in the last 12 months, it's almost as though everybody seems to have like stepped up a gear in terms of the virtual performances,
Yeah.
making the best of the situation that we're all in worldwide. And it just seems as though, you know, looking at the things that Jaria have done for Reggae Month this year, everything just, the level seems to be up.
No, for sure. I think we've got, you know, a lot of time to work out the kinks when it comes to these online stuff. And it goes to show that the work is being put in. I think the overall production quality is stepping up. You know, for me, what I've learned throughout this time is that we have to find ways of creating, you know, other types of content for the fans and for the viewers and the supporters, because, you know, I think the world was heading towards this kind of more personal but still virtual connection with the fans. And then I think this pandemic situation kind of just forced even the ones who weren't necessarily inclined to do that kind of stuff. You know, they kind of forced the hand to say, oh, we really have to get into this thing where we're interacting more with the fans directly. We see like the TikToks and the Instagram lives and stuff like that, you know, really stepped up a lot this year. And, you know, I think because of that now, we're finding other ways to express ourselves, other ways to engage, and definitely the live shows and things is one of the key ways, you know.
Yeah. Well, look, I kind of feel like we've got loads to talk about. I don't even know really where to begin. You know, I'm thinking Immaculate Mixtape. We could maybe talk about football or leave that one for another day. Cameo, maybe a new album. But I think that I want to start off by talking about this brand new production, the Victory Rock. This is the first rhythm production that we have on Bebble Rock Music. Let's talk to the people about that new production.
So this thing, I'm really excited about this project. I've been working on this rhythm for over 2 years now, actually, you know, and it's, you know, it's difficult as an artist because you have to focus on your career. You know, we were still touring at the time. This rhythm actually started with me and my band members on tour.
Okay.
You know, and we were just, you know, playing around in Ableton Live, just, you know, making beats. And and actually we came back to Jamaica and then did some studio sessions at Anchor and played over a lot of the instrumentation. I linked up with my co-producer, Genius, who did like 3 songs on the album, you know, Can't Breathe, Caught Up, Meaning of Life. So I have a good, you know, working vibration with him as well. So he did some additional production, played over the drums, did all the arrangement, all the mixing of the vocals, you know, and I just like, I think it was towards the end of 2018, I just started linking all the artists I know who would vibe on this kind of rhythm.
Yeah.
And right now, because we're releasing the songs in stages, I don't want to give out too many names because we still, the full rhythm is gonna come out March 26th. But next week, Friday now is when we have 4 songs coming out. So, you know, you can look out for a song from Alain, from D Major, from Bugle. And we have Christopher Martin. We have a couple other names. Stoneboy actually released his song already on his last album.
Okay.
So Stoneboy is on the rhythm, you know, Pressure is on the rhythm. You know, Iris Soldier, Medicine, some younger artists, lesser known artists as well. You know, I have some other females on it as well. It's a big project. It's really a big project and it's my first project. So trying to really go about it right. And, you know, it's a team effort. You know, as you said, it's the first project on the label, really, you know, as a juggling. You know, really and truly what we've done before is like the free project Rebel Music, then the compilation Lead the Way, then Cora Fire's EP. So this is really like the next Bebble Rock project.
Yeah. And I think, you know what it is for me is I think new rhythms always excite me, not just the music, but even as far as the name of the rhythm, the artwork.
Yeah.
You know, like when
everything.
I've seen the artwork for Victory Rock, it just kind of sounds like it's going to be a hit rhythm.
Yeah, man, give thanks. I really hope so. I really hope we get the support from the reggae fraternity. You know, people say that jugglings are dying out and, you know, especially one drop reggae and stuff is not as prominent as it was before. But I think once the music is good enough, it will find its way in rotation, you know, and we really put a lot into this project. So, you know, once the music is out, it's just up to everybody to see how they react and everything. And, you know, yeah, but definitely give thanks for asking me about that and just, you know, getting to highlight it on this platform because it's really important for me, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think that Jordan from Chimney Records, he said recently that he's almost kind of set out a challenge, hasn't he, to other
Yeah.
producers to say, look, where is
Proper
that
juggling.
culture of the juggling gone? It kind of
Yep,
seems
no.
that we've had a shift in production now towards just singles. What's your
Yeah.
take on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think how I look at it is that I guess in previous eras in the music, you would say that the producers are the ones who really were the driving force of the music. You know, I think with the push towards independence, you know, less, you know, labels having the power and artists kind of learning about the business, you find that artists can survive now kind of governing their own career. So you find that they're more independent. They want to do singles with producers. They're less dependent on the juggling rhythms to get exposure because they can create a narrative around themselves, and that lends towards doing singles, I find. But I think that what happens as a negative byproduct of that is artists who are less, I guess, flamboyant or exciting or less viral in their own personality and content, they suffer because, you know, when they do singles, you know, it's like a hit or a miss thing, you know, and it doesn't really get a chance to soak in like how a juggling would soak in. And then you would have the established artists as well as the young artists getting a chance to shine if their song is good enough and if their song stands out enough. So I think juggling is still an important platform for the culture. I think a lot of these young producers and young artists who are doing singles, and even established artists, they might not have like very structured routes to get the music to the DJs as well. And I think that was one of the things that was very good with how we funneled the music in the past. Like the producers, they knew all the DJs, they knew how to get everything. So an artist didn't really have to worry about anything. As long as your voice on the big rhythm for the big producer, you're gonna get your song out. So everybody doing singles now. And then a lot of the DJs in UK, in the Caribbean, in Africa, in certain places who they have been getting the music from these channels, and then these artists don't know these channels. So when they put out their singles now, their fans are getting it on their social media, but the average person out there who just plays reggae music is not getting the music. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think juggling is a way of consolidating the channels to get the music out. You know, and that's the way artists can get more exposure. So I felt like it was important to have established artists as well as young artists on the rhythm, because I feel like that's just a winning formula, you know?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I kind of like think back to when I first really sort of embracing reggae music in the very early 90s, where most of it was obviously on vinyl then. And, you know, you'd kind of sometimes have a 7-inch release, pre-release with an established artist, an up-and-coming artist. Like it's almost like that analogy that you sometimes buy an album for that one song, but then when you go through that album, there's more.
Exactly. Well. You get to hear a lot of other stuff, yeah. And then you'd have the A side and the B side, and you know.
Yeah. Now you mentioned the name Genius. So this is Genius from Barcelona, right?
Yes.
So you guys are kind of like having quite a strong working relationship. So it seems like, you know, Victory Rock is definitely going to be one that's going to be being played in the dances and airwaves.
If we can have some dances, that would be great. Yeah, no, that would be great, because it's so crazy. I think a lot of songs that were released last year could have been a lot bigger if there were dances to actually create those moments where a song shell down a dance. You know, it's like without that impact, without the big stage shows where you can see how big a song is, you know, it's just kind of a weird time for the music. But the good thing about jugglings is that they have a longer life cycle. So even if things free up towards the end of the year, my hope is that the rhythm is still playing like towards the end of the year and even into next year. You know what I mean? That's if you have a really good project. So, you know, definitely looking forward and you know, excited.
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, one of the things that I sort of, you know, recognize is that during this past 12 months where you've not been able to travel or anything, consistency has been like the key to Kabaka Pyramid. Do you think that the last year has almost given you a bit of a greater freedom of mind being in Jamaica?
Yeah, for sure. You know, I'm always an artist who has like a home set up you know, studio setup where I can just record in my own timing and things. So, you know, being in the pandemic just kind of forced me to zone into different aspects of the music, like my vocal recording, my production, beat making. You know, it just allows you to develop even more of a consistency and you know, more experimentation with different things, because you just have time to really zone in on it and really think about all the aspects that you need to work on and stuff. So, you know, it was easy. It was easy doing a lot of music last year. You know, I love to record, I love to write music. And towards the end of the year, we just decided to start putting out music, you know, rapidly, and then consolidating everything with the mixtape. And yeah, it was a great year, you know?
Yeah, yeah. What's the one thing that you feel that you've become closer to in the past 12 months? What's the one thing that you kind of feel as a person, not necessarily as an artist, but just you as a person?
Yeah, just consistency with routines. You know, I feel like I've developed some routines that I've always, you know, started and stopped things. Like it's kind of a Aries trait where you start the next thing and you're excited, and then that fire just burns out and then you're on to the next thing. But, you know, being able to just stay consistent with like my exercise routine, workout routine, you know, consistent with things like meditation, and even there was a period where I was brushing up on my Spanish lessons like for 2 months straight, you know.
Okay.
I was just doing things like that. Like for me, that's very consistent. You know, doing anything for more than like 2 weeks straight is like very consistent. So, you know, definitely I feel like, you know, I had the opportunity last year and, you know, continuing this year to really get consistent. Even with beat making. Beat making is a thing that I will go hard with beat making for like a month, and then I have to travel, and then I can't bring all my stuff with me. And then I just lose the vibe for it. And then 6 months later, I'm starting over again, you know? So
yeah, I hear you.
Just being able to do that consistently now, you know, you definitely see that you're leveling up, and it's a good feeling.
Yeah, yeah. Well, look, we're definitely really excited about this first rhythm juggling, the Victory Rock. Let's move from one rock to another. Let's go over to one of the foundation rocks, the real rock. Jeremy Harding, Nice Up the Dance. What a song that was. You know, 40 years after the original was put together by Michigan and Smiley, it popped up probably around about last September, October on this compilation album on VP, Dancehall Anthem.
Yeah, it was a great honor to do that song. I mean, Jeremy linked me and said he was doing this project with VP. He was producing over these songs, and, you know, he gave me a list of songs to choose from, just classics, all classics. And when I saw the list, I immediately, you know, gravitated towards Nice Up the Dance, because it's a song that even when I'm on tour doing my set, like in reggae music around that time, I would just ask the band, yo, drop in a real rock, and then just kind of freestyle a little bit. I'm a DJ in a dance, you know, and just hold a vibe. And so I was kind of familiar with the song. I must admit that it's not until I went into the studio session I was really dissecting the full song, because, you know, like when songs playing at the dance, you don't hear like deep into the second and third verse some of the time. So, you know, it was nice hearing the lyrics down at the end, like, can't find no park, or the dance really cock. Keep man a laugh and the cashier a laugh. Can't find a buckle with a car. You know, it's like man say, oh, them lyrics are crazy. You know, so it was a joy. And, you know, I brought my microphone to his studio, you know, because I'm a gearhead. You know, we're just talking about equipment and compressors and preamps, and, you know, that was a whole vibe within itself. And, you know, I actually thought that the version I was recording on was the original. I didn't realize he had already made it over.
Yeah.
You know, and he was like looking up all of the equipment that was used at the time, all the keyboards and synthesizers, and making sure he matched back all the sounds perfectly. And he did everything himself. Just crazy. You know, I didn't even realize he was that much of a musician in terms of like guitar, bass, everything, you know. So that was a joy, man. And obviously I put my own twist on it, dropped in 2 verses that I had from years ago, you know. And yeah, it was really a vibe. And we did the video. It's when I did the video now, that's when I really started getting excited about the song. Because just walking down the street, you know, where we shot the video, It was close by Rima side there, so. And I forget what the lane is called, but you know, just hearing people singing along because they're so familiar with the song, and you know, I just immediately knew like this one is gonna be a big one. You know,
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah, very much a success.
Well, I think that, you know, Michigan Smiley credits them because they were kind of ahead of their game in terms of lyrics back in the late 70s, early 80s.
Definitely,
And I think
way ahead.
What you've done is just kind of like spiced it up for another generation. And I love the old school sort of vibe in the video with the blue tracksuits.
Yeah, no, for
It's
sure.
a good move. It's a good move. And
There's a local sister and designed everything and did all the wardrobe and stuff. So, you know.
Yeah. And I think, you know, like you said that you've kind of added your sort of like your input into it. Like I love the line about the sipping the cup of tea. Like the
like we come from England. Yeah, man. No, for sure. You know, my thing is always lyrics. So yeah, I was glad to be able to, you know, sometimes you do a cover and they just do a straight cover, but I was like, nah, we need to spice it up even more, you know?
Yeah. And I think what you mentioned there was really interesting because I think when you listen to the other songs on that project, they sound so close to the original. And I understand that, yes, Jeremy Harding, he played back everything on every single track.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Real talent, like a legend in the music.
Yeah. Well, look, around about that time, we also had another song from you, Stress Relief, Turn Up the Sound. And then we had another really big song that was produced by Suku, Ward 21, on the big Baltimore rhythm, Trample Them. This is kind of where I see you tackling a very, very serious topic here. You know, there's no gimmicks about this. This is something that's real, that's happening across all four corners of the world. What made you address that topic of child abuse and child brutality?
Yeah, it's such a serious topic. It's such a, you know, like, it's a serious thing, especially in Jamaica here. It's something that a lot of people just grow to live with, like almost accept it like it's normal. Like even family members abusing, you know, kids, uncles, fathers, you know, these are things that members of my family have been through, you know what I mean? And it's just like, older generation, but still it's happening, you know what I mean? And we talk about pedophilia, we talk about human trafficking, you know, a lot of issues that surrounding these issues too, you know, but just generally like no concern for the younger generation, you know, and I think that a lot of the issues we see in society is due to some form of child abuse. You know, whether it's, you know, abuse in the sense that broken homes are like single mothers, single fathers, are, you know, verbal abuse, sexual abuse, mental abuse, all kind of things, you know, abuse from environments and schools, you know, and it's just, these are some of the fundamental issues that cause a lot of the other problems that we see in society. So my thing was just attacking it at the root, especially the ones who consciously do these things. You know, they're fully aware that they're molesting children. It's sickening. You know, it's sickening. And I wanted to bring back some of that fire that everybody's saying, the fire that kind of missing from the music, especially with the Rasta artists. Them. You know, I kind of took certain things personal, you know, even before writing that song. Like I've always felt like I was one of the people who always maintaining the fire, maintaining the message in the music. But, you know, that one was really just kind of lashing out, like, you know, Capitan Sizzler kind of days, you know what I mean? Just bringing back that energy, because it's needed, you know, it's needed.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, I think that, you know, you talk very, very, like, you know, openly about these issues that we all face in the world, whether it's child abuse or mental abuse. And I think that, you know, by bringing that song to the table now, it makes people more aware. Is anyone doing anything about it though? That's the question that I ask. You know, that it's in the news. You kind of you know, there was a story the other day about something to do with a princess from Dubai, and it almost seems like these sort of stories seem to almost get brushed over by the media.
That's my biggest problem. The way I was just swept under the rug. You know, and the honest answer, I don't know if there's anything being done. You know, we don't really hear about any initiatives to really address these things. You know, we hear about people, you know, doing certain things and not getting punished by the law. walking out of court cases, and found not guilty, and it's just, yeah, there's a lot of work that needs to be done from the highest of levels, and until you can really address even the governments to put certain things in place to really punish people and deter people from doing things, then it's hard to really find any change,
Yeah, yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. I mean, I think that Trample Them, that was probably the last single I think was released before November the 25th, 2020.
Mhm.
We had this mixtape. What a mixtape. I mean, Immaculate, 27 songs. To me, it was almost like having 2 or 3 new Kabaka Pyramid albums all in one.
All in one.
It really is.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think there were 16 unreleased songs on it, and some other freestyles and dub plates. Big up to Max Glazer, who, he has done many mixtapes in the past, from Vibes Cartel, other artists, up to the Chronics, Roots and Chalice. So we definitely are looking forward to working with him. He's very good to work with. He had a lot of ideas for the project. And we just wanted to continue the vibe coming from the Accurate mixtape with Walchi Fire. Obviously, everybody know Accurate, Immaculate is my slogan, so we felt it fitting to call it Immaculate, and just, he had Max forwarded, whole heap of ideas for the interludes, and just some really nice things that tie everything together. And yeah, it was great. I worked with Genius, did actually some post-production on some of the tracks, just to, make sure and get them up to speed, and did some of the mixing on the projects. And, it was just a team effort, and, just whole heap of lyrics, whole heap of fire.
Yeah.
So what we've been doing since is just singling the songs, because, we knew it wouldn't be considered like an album, although people kind of consider that, but we didn't want to necessarily put out another compilation type album like Lead the Way, so wanted to just present the music, just put out music, give our vibes to the thing, what I mean, and just present music in the form where people can just listen to it. So what we're doing after that is just picking out songs and singling them, promoting them, adding them to playlists on Spotify. So everybody was like, yo, all right, how can we listen to this? How can we listen? We're saying this on YouTube, it's on SoundCloud, it's on Audio Mac, but no, we need this on Spotify, we need this on Apple Music. So we're just like rushing to just put out as many songs as we could as singles, give them promotion. We shot some videos, and just get them on the playlist. We have an Immaculate playlist on Spotify with, like, I think it has about 15 of the songs on it now. So you can get a decent listen. You won't find the exclusive stuff on that, but it's just, we just always had other content to push the mixtape, just keep the cycle going. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think, for myself as a music head, I think it is a classic mixtape in that all the elements are there, the energy is up, the lyricism, and all packed within 60 minutes. I mean, I think it is a classic. It really is. So, credit to yourself, Glazer, because, I think that the way that you've put the mixtape together, you mentioned some of the intros and things. So you even managed to get a little sample of Bounty Killer before election time. Yeah, classic.
Classic. Oh, for sure. Like, Max did all of that stuff. I just approved them when I heard them. It was like, or maybe it was like, all right, this could be maybe a little shorter. This, maybe we could move this one here or whatever. But Max was like digging up everything, and just full of ideas and full of vibes. So yeah, it was great.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that, when you actually look at the lyrical content within the actual mixtape as well, we've obviously got the message music, Trample Them, Mama Earth, Pressure Bus Pipe, Never Trod Alone. A very philosophical question, what is life? And I guess that really, this is a question that people are really asking about themselves over these past 12 months.
Oh, for sure. It's funny you mention that, because going back to the Juggling Bugle as a song called What is Life? So that's, everybody's thinking about these things now. But yeah, definitely wanted to represent many sides. So Much Love is another one of those songs where, provocative lyrics and, showing the thought process, as an artist. And yeah, we had different, the more lyrical vibes like the freestyle, like Grandstand, like General, Contraband Part 2, addressing a lot of the stuff that's happening now. And yeah, it's just all the different sides of the pyramid, I would say.
Very much so, definitely. I mean, I think that some of the lighter sides that I really love are Love Me Bad. It just has a real...
I was just about to mention that, yeah.
I love the vibes on that. And even I've got my kids kind of singing that as well. So after dinner, we kind of go on Spotify and I'm playing songs like Love Me Bad and they're like, you can just see them kind of rocking away to it. So yeah. It's appealing to...
It's just that classic reggae music sound. It's that classic dancehall vibe. You can't go around it. Exactly. It's just works, definitely.
And also Immaculate, I mean, what a rhythm. I mean, to me, it kind of sounds like a bit of a mashup of the playground and the metric rhythm.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, like I said to you, the way you guys have put it together, I'm loving it.
Yeah, I think that was Kenny Mees who did that mashup from Federation Sound. And yeah, actually, I think I recorded on... Yeah, I think I actually did the dub on that same version of it. And then, we just did like a medley. And then, Max kept the parts that he wanted to do. But I actually flew to New York during the pandemic. Well, not during the crazy part when, the cases were sky high in New York. But it was after that when things kind of settled down. I flew up to New York. We linked with Max, did the 4 dub plates and the exclusive stuff. I linked with LMR to work on Don't Say a Word at the time, and just that was nice to just actually being in studio together working on the project.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people say that you are undoubtedly one of the hottest lyricists out there. How do you respond to that?
Hottest lyricist? I mean, that's I mean, that's people's opinion. I give thanks for that. I definitely put in a lot of work. My thing is, I'm never satisfied, so it can always be more, so, the lyrics I could even go deeper and with more lyrics and stuff, but a lot of the time, I'm trying to balance now, just making music that's enjoyable for people, more than just like bombarding with instructions and, messages and stuff, but still balancing that just enjoyment factor of what music does, for the emotions as well as the mind, so that's something that I've been balancing, but at the same time, lyrics is my identity, so I will never shy away from being lyrical, and yeah, there's a lot of lyricists on the scene right now. You have the Skilly Bangs and all of these artists. You have the man them well established like Idonia and Massacre, and these are the people who, when I listen, I'm like, all right, cool, definitely have to step up this area, and make sure I say the thing intact. And then you have the younger artists them too, like the Runkus and the Royal Blues and them who very lyrical too, so it's a good time for lyrics. I think there's a lot of lyrical artists in the music right now. I feel like people are actually listening and dissecting lyrics now. Whereas maybe 10 years ago, it's like it was just all about melodies and every artist starting to sing instead of DJ and thing. But I think the lyricism with the melodies kind of come back around now.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, what personally for me, when I sit down and listen to music, I really take in the lyrics. And what I find is that with yourself, there's lots of like throwing in metaphors. And sometimes you listen to a song 2 or 3 times and you sort of walk away from there thinking, I've got a different understanding of this song now. And that's coming from my Wu-Tang days. It's like there's a lot of abstract references in the lyrics. It's not like some artists, which is a skill that I admire. They're very conversational with the lyrics. It's like you're having a conversation, you're talking, so everything is kind of following sequentially. I am more like Wu-Tang, where it's like, you drop a line about this here, and then you drop a line about that, and then you go here with it, then you go. But there is an underlying connectivity there, But you kind of have to use your brain now to follow along.
You know, so I think that's something that endears me to people who appreciate lyrics, but maybe the average person might, you know, not be as resonating with everything because it's not as plain and straightforward, you know?
Yeah, yeah, no, I get that. I get that. I mean,
Yeah.
talking of lyrics, I mean, the Contraband Part 2, which opened up the Immaculate Mixtape, I think that there's a little message in there that the new album's on its way as well.
For sure. Definitely. Definitely. That song was, I was actually in Miami for about 3 months working on the album, and that's how that song came about. And then we're like, why? The things that we're talking about in this song is very relevant now. So it's like, we might as well just put it out on the mixtape. And there might be even a different version of that song for the album, you know, with some fresh lyrics, or, you know what I mean? We might flip it differently because it's still very short. It's just like one verse and the 2 choruses. So there's still a lot of room to expand even that song. But definitely the album is on the way. It's, you know what I mean? Very excited about it. You know, some big rhythms we're working on. Some, you know, we're still in the songwriting phase. And I'm heading back to Miami soon to continue. And hopefully we can finish up and drop it, you know, by the middle of this year.
Okay, as early as that then. So looking forward for a 2020.
Yeah, we're trying. Why not? Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I mean, I think that your debut album, and I kind of feel funny saying this because we've known your music for so long now. Contraband, that was a great album in itself. And I think that when I actually look at the way that you work together with Damian on some productions, it's tight.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. And what I'm trying to do now is make it more about his production, because he officially did about 5 tracks on Contraband. You know, a lot of the other tracks were still done in the studio, but him as an actual producer was on five of the track, like a composer and stuff. So definitely want to increase that percentage, you know, a lot for this album, and kind of make it like a Damian produced album. And, you know, that's one of my intentions, and it's going really great so far. You know, he feels like he's leveled up as a producer now, and I feel like my songwriting is on a different level now. So definitely looking forward to stepping up the thing, you know, for this next album.
Yeah, well, it definitely sounds like we've got some great works to come. I mean, if the mixtape that we've just been talking about is anything to go by, and the singles that you released outside of the mixtape. So, you know, when I think of something like the Loco remix,
yep.
Crazy. It really is. It's crazy. It really is.
Crazy.
And I think that I'd love to actually hear Kabaka with some of the older generations artists. I know you've worked with people like Capleton, but I think it will be a joy to actually see you working with some of the older school heads as well, for real.
No, for sure. Definitely. And you know, that's Damian's generation too. So in terms of the artists who him link with, and he's kind of in between age certain way, but you know, him definitely connect with some of those older heads and like the Bounty Killers and stuff. So anything is possible, you know. Maybe we can get a Kabaka Bounty collab on the album. You know, we'll see how it works, you know, but definitely there's a lot of potential there. Busy Signal came through the studio one night, and you know, we're just putting on crazy ideas. So yeah, we'll see, you know.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned Wu-Tang, which we know that obviously, you know, you're very much, you know, your hip hop influences are from Wu-Tang. One thing I've never known though is, if I was to ask you the same question as far as a reggae artist influence, who would that be?
I mean, definitely Sizzla. I mean, Sizzla for me is the root and the source. You know what I mean? Like his music changed my life. His music is what made you see me now as a Rasta. You know, so that's definitely my artist. You know, early days in high school, you know, before I was a real Sizzla fan, I was listening Holy Pa dancehall, like, you know, Bounty, Baby Sham, you know, Spragga, Sean Paul, where did all the lyricists them, you know, them artists that we used to rate, you know. And yeah, I would say, you know, obviously you know, my approach to music and to life as an artist heavily inspired by like a Peter Tosh and, you know, Burning Spear too. I was a big Ainika Mosey fan as a youth too. You know, Here Comes That Step On, that whole album was definitely something where it impacted me. You know, but yeah, Super Cat, can't left out Super Cat, you know what I mean? But if it's one artist, it's definitely Sizzla. Wow. You know, and you know, there are periods where when the Gang album them are forward out, it's like you can't listen to anything else. You know, Steve Marley is that type of, you know, so a whole heap of influence is still like on a different level, you know, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's interesting. So definitely one to look out for. So we're looking forward to a new album in 2021 as well. Now, we started off the reasoning because you were sort of saying that, you know, you've almost sort of like learnt of new ways to sort of interact with the people, the fans, disc jockeys, promoters of the world, Instagram Live and things. Let's talk about Cameo, because that's something new that I think that has sort of come about in the last couple of years as well. Tell us about Cameo and how does that work?
Yeah, so it's basically an app that allows fans to request like video drops from, you know, artists or celebrities or whatever, like, you know, yeah, so you can search for people. So you can go in and search Kabaka Pyramid. You find me, then you see the price for a video drop, a price to DM or text.
Okay. And
for me, it's like $40 for a video, you know, so it's very straightforward. A lot of celebrities on it, a lot of artists, Snoop Dogg, whole heap of people on it. You know, I see Sean Paul on it and promoting it and stuff. So yeah, it's a nice way to add, you know, like extra income here and there and fulfill a lot of birthday wishes and, you know, people, a lot of inspirational stuff, like people who know people who just need a lift and want you sing a piece of a song, or, you know, it's just a vibe, you know.
Yeah.
I don't mind it at all.
Yeah, and I think what you just said there, that people sometimes just need that little bit of a lift. I think that's so important in these times, isn't it?
In these times, definitely. Oh, for sure. Yeah, so, you know, I take advantage of it. I think it's a good app. There's some other apps I see people sending emails about some similar type of stuff, you know, with text messaging and thing. But, you know, it's interesting because even Facebook has like this subscriber features where you can set a price and then you do certain things with your fans and you can state what you want to do. So it's going to be interesting in terms of how much we balance keeping ourselves to ourselves, but at the same time giving of our time, you know, and you don't want to just be drained out or like, because you have some crazy people out there still who, you know what I mean, them, you know, kind of will get starkish and them kind of stuff. So you have to know how much you really want to put out there and how much you're willing to give, you know, because you have to preserve your energy a certain way. But I think an app like that, you know, if I get the request, I don't have to do it immediately. I try to do it within 24 hours, you know, when I'm feeling good, when I'm in good light or whatever, and just, you know, just take your time with it, you know.
Yeah. I think like you say, with all these kind of things, you have to have a bit of a balance as well.
For sure. Definitely.
Well, look, I really give thanks for your time today, just sharing about the new rhythm juggling, Victory Rock, the Immaculate Mixtape. We've spoken about quite a few things today. A closing message to everyone.
Believe in yourself. You know, we never get to talk about that song, but that it's doing really good right now. You know, the message is, you know, have faith in yourself, have faith in the path that has been set out for you. From we have life, we have the opportunity to grow, we have the opportunity to learn and to love and to experience more life. You know, without self-confidence, you're twice defeated in the race of life. Words of Marcus Garvey. You know, and yeah, just keep supporting the music, support artists with positive messages. You know, it doesn't have to be me, but just we need more support for music that positively impacts the lives of people, you know, because there's a whole heap of distraction out there. So yeah, I will continue to play my part, you know?
We're going to continue to help spinning your music on the radio and things. So yeah, we give thanks for your time today, and I want to bless up your management, bigging up Dwayne and Abhishek and the whole Bebble Rock family as well. So we give thanks for the reasonings today.
Well done, man. Big up. Give thanks to yourself.
Yeah, man. Bless up. Cool.
Reggae Interviews. Word Sound Power.